Welcome to another episode of Open Trial Podcast, y'all. We back again with another team breakdown. We are moving right along the list, and if you listen to the last episode, you heard what we said as far as after this team we do today, it's gonna be straight playoff team. So this is the last team we feel like will not make the playoffs, and it may come as a shocker to some because they have a tremendous amount of talent on their team, but for some reason they always have a tremendous amount of talent on any team, and they never can pull it together for whatever reason. If it's the coaching, if it's the players, if it's the organization, management, for whatever reason, they can never put it together. And that team would happen to be the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, if you got my hint last episode, I'm pretty sure you got there. Who snitched on their teammate was D'Lo. D'Lo snitched on Nick Young when he was a pub playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, and that caused him to get traded.
Yeah,
and I know he's been trying to live that down ever since then. He gets upset now. You bring it. I mean, it is old, so I can understand. Like he's like, come on, let's move past it. But it's just so funny that it happened. So some people
he's actually good now though. But hold on, we gotta keep it traditional. Any Minnesota fans? Do you know?
Let me think. I don't know any.
I do know one, but I kind of feel like it's a default because they lived in Minnesota at one point in time. But his name is Devontae. Okay. So if you're watching, which I hope you are, here's your recognition that you deserve. Yeah, he definitely is a Minnesota fan, I believe. I mean, he's definitely talked about the other teams out there and towns before and stuff like that. So I'm assuming he's a Minnesota fan.
Okay. Shout out to him then, man. I don't know many, but right now we don't have them making the playoffs, so I'm pretty sure he don't want to hear that. But let's break it down so we can let y'all know why we think what we think about them. So. Last season, they went 23-49. Missed the playoff last season. Only won 23 games. Not the best season. Who they picked up? They picked up one guy that kind of bounced around to like 500 teams in one day, and that was Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley was playing musical chairs this offseason, and he finally, when the music stopped, he landed with the Minnesota Timberwolves, man. So they got him over there.
Odd though, isn't it? Like I just don't see him getting traded like that. Now it just happened to happen. Like he's been pretty consistent in his career, just two teams up until this season, then bounced around like that.
Yeah, crazy. I guess that pushing CP3 back kind of messed his reputation up. I don't know.
Then that was 1, 2, 3 Cancun. That too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That. He thought for sure he won the championship. Yeah, they were just overly happy. That was just too much. But they pick up what's his name? Tarian. Is that how you say Tarian Prince?
Torian.
Yeah. Torian Prince, and they picked up what's the big man name? Juan
Hernangomez.
Yeah, Juan Hernangomez. They picked him up, and those are the big pieces they picked up this offseason. Who they lost? They lost a player that I actually like. And me and you talked about him before. What's his name?
Ricky Rubio.
None. No, they lost Rubio, the wing. Jarrett Cutland.
Why am I blanking on this one?
We cannot think of it right now. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit that.
They drafted him like 2-3 seasons
ago. Jarrett Culver. There we go.
Yeah. That's his name.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, my bad, man.
They traded him for barely nothing too. Like they got like
dog. He was a nice player.
Yeah, in college.
I know you probably think like, well, you couldn't even think of his name. I just blanked on his name, but when I watched him, I thought he was gonna be an actually good piece for them. A nice wing, play defense, can score, take you off the dribble. I thought he was a pretty good wing player. Like I was surprised they let him go for pretty much nothing. So hopefully he does good where he landed. We haven't got to the scene where he landed to yet. But when we get there, we'll talk about how he fit with them and how he could probably blossom into a pretty good starter for them.
Say the same thing. It's a good spot for him now.
Yeah, man. So, but yeah, they lost Ricky Rubio. I remember Ricky Rubio when he first came out. It was so much hype around his name.
Yeah, right. And they call him the next Steve Nash. He's supposed to be everything and more.
All that, man. Couldn't even.
Now he plays for this team right here.
Yeah, couldn't even score. So, they had no draft picks because they traded their first round draft pick for D'Angelo Russell to the Golden State Warriors. So that draft pick is gone. We haven't got to the Warriors yet, so we'll talk about who they drafted with their draft pick once we get to the Warriors. But yeah, I feel like that's not a bad pickup. I mean, they pretty much traded Andrew Wiggins in a first round draft pick to get D'Lo. I don't feel like that's horrible, like a horrible move in your
They
opinion.
got that was I think that why it wasn't a bad move. I feel like that was a move to make Towns happy. That's his best friend. I think that they might have went for Booker. If Booker didn't have a good season, they didn't make it as far as they did, make the playoffs this year, get Chris Paul. It might have been on the table for them.
I was saying when they won the first round draft pick last season, and they got the first pick overall, and they took Anthony Edwards, I was saying they should have traded that pick for Booker.
That would have been that move. I mean, it would have been good still. They would never made the finals, but it would still been a good. It would have been a good pickup still.
Yeah, I mean, the Suns made the right choice by not doing it because they just made it to the NBA Finals, so it worked out for them. But that was like my hot take at the moment. When as soon as they got the pick, I said trade it for Booker, D'Lo, and Cat. It's like a poor man's version of the Banana Boat crew. It's just it's three friends that've been trying to get together since they got drafted.
But no one plays defense. That would have been offense only. All offense.
That's a poor man's version of the LeBron Banana crew. Three friends that just trying to play together. So, when I was talking about the starting lineup, let's talk about that. Like I said, they have talent.
They do.
Before I get into their lineup, I just want to ask you. He had a pretty good rookie season, Anthony Edwards, and he could have won Rookie of the Year easily. Like if he would have won it, I actually thought he was going to win it. If I'm being honest, I thought he was going to win. So I just want to ask you. I know you the draft guru. So what did you think about Anthony Edwards coming into his rookie season? And did he surprise you, or did he do kind of what you expected him to do with Minnesota in his first year?
Surprised me. I didn't think he was going to be this good this early. He made comments like pretty early on that made me question some of things. Like he said he hasn't fell in love with basketball yet. And I'm like, dang, you're probably the number one pick and make comments like that. I would kind of scare me as a GM talking about you don't love basketball yet. But he really, really, really like he started off slow. I'm like, okay, this is probably like they're gonna take time, came off the bench, whatever. And then Malik Beasley got suspended. He came into the starting lineup and he really came into his own. I think there's a stat. Don't quote me on this, but I think he averaged 21 plus, like barely above 21 when he became a starter. And he really produced. He had highlight after highlight after highlight, and he's super confident. So I think he, in my opinion, overachieved his rookie year. He had a great rookie year. I don't think it was long enough for him to win Rookie of the Year. That's why LaMelo did end up getting it, as we'll talk about in one of our upcoming episodes. But there was no, I mean, you obviously will want LaMelo Ball, but that wasn't a bad pick either. It was a safe pick. It turned out to be good. So far, that was a good one.
Yeah. I overall I thought he kind of surprised me. I didn't expect him to be that good. Cause that season when he was a rookie, I wasn't really deep in my draft bag, my college bag that year. I kind of fell off. I had a busy year, and I wasn't able to watch college basketball like I wanted to, and so I didn't really know much about him. And like you said, that comment he made about not loving the game, it kind of made me think of some of the players in the past that said that, and I was thinking like, I hate to draft a player like that that's saying that he kind of indifferent about the game. So that kind of made me. But when he got into the league, he balled out, and he probably one of the most funny interviewers in whole NBA.
He is hilarious.
Man, he is funny. Like
he compares himself to the best in every sport. You ask him about swimming, I'm Michael Phelps. I can do this. Like I'm Usain Bolt. He's hilarious.
Yeah, man, funny guy. So let's talk about the starters. In my opinion, the guaranteed starters are three guys: D'Lo, Ant, and Cat. I feel like those guys off the rip will be starting. After that, you can kind of mention who you think could be in there. I don't think Malik Beasley should be in the starting lineup because I just don't think him and Ant match together well on the court at the same time. So I think Malik will be best off the bench, in my opinion. Let me look at who else they have. They may start Prince, who they just picked up at that 3 spot. He wouldn't be a bad player to slide into the 3 spot, that 4 spot, however you want to use him.
Or 4.
And outside of that, it's not really much. I got McDaniels. They could probably put him down there.
I think he'll be starting for sure. He's super talented.
Yeah, he could probably slide in at that 4 spot, and that actually may be the starters with McDaniels and Prince. But like I said, it's just that's why I think it should be. But if it's something else, I'm not surprised. As long as it's just those 3 for sure, Cat, Ant, and D'Lo. Outside of that, it's really I just don't think Malik should start. But what you think about this starting lineup?
I think Jaylen will be starting. I think it probably will be Malik Beasley. I don't think it should. I think that him and Edwards are better when they're not playing on the floor together because they play so similar with the ball in their hands. Are offensive players. So I do think that it'll be better for him to be a 6-man. And start Torian will probably be better. Torian's a really good 3-point shooter. He can play defense. He's really active on the defense end of the floor. So that will probably be better for their lineup. So I would probably say Torian would be a better pick, but just based off talent, they'll probably end up going with Malik Beasley.
Yeah, and they have a first year head coach, so he's kind of gonna have to figure out what he wants to do as a whole with the organization coming into this. I'm about to say university coming to this organization.
They play like a college team sometimes. So
yeah.
Yeah, actually, it was interesting. And it was so at the time of us recording this, NBA Media Days already happened, and what did not make headlines, which I kind of feel kind of weird that didn't, was Towns kind of bashing the organization a little bit. Like he said that it's hard to find consistency with the team, and he made comments about how he's always been a punching bag. He's not going to be that anymore from players, teammates, personnel, all type of stuff. He's never found consistency, all head coaches, all the stuff. And that came with the firing of their GM about a week ago from the time of us recording this. So he made some pretty strong comments.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up. I want to ask you something. That segues to what I want to ask. What is your opinions of Karl-Anthony Towns? So I asked this because I was kind of harsh on Kevin Love, and I gave him a hard time talking about how he's not a good teammate. How he after looking back all these years, even though he was put up all these numbers, he was the reason why they wasn't winning in Minnesota, because he just wasn't somebody to galvanize the troops, make people feel good around him, pick them up, make the whole organization better, yada yada yada. Now Cat's in the same position as him, and I think Cat's a better player overall than Kevin Love, but he is somebody that can't, for whatever reason, can't get them into the playoffs. They made the playoffs once since he's been there, I believe, and that was the year they had Jimmy Butler. So it's like,
correct.
And Jimmy Butler had his trepidations there because he felt like the organization was as a whole wasn't motivating enough. Was soft. They wasn't committed to winning. They wasn't committed to the process, and that's why ultimately he got out of there, because he was getting he didn't like Cat's work ethic. He didn't like reportedly. He didn't like Cat's work ethic. He didn't like Wiggins' work ethic. He didn't like none of that. And he ruffled so many feathers that they was like, okay, we rather get rid of him and keep our young stars happy than keep him and make our organization better. We rather get rid of him. So what's your opinions on Cat? I have an interesting take on Cat, but I want to see what you think about Cat first before I go in what I think about him.
I like him as a player, but there's two major things that stand out about him to me. One, he doesn't win basketball games, and two, he can't stay healthy for him even to find sustainable success. Maybe he's changed since Jimmy Butler's days. We don't really hear reports on him anymore, but he can't stay on the floor anymore. I feel like the only reports we hear about him aren't the best ones now, like where I guess a report came out recently that he lost 50 pounds when he had COVID, and his mom died of COVID. It was notable. And then he had 7 family members in total pass from COVID. So I think that's the only headlines we really get from him these days. So it's kind of hard to tell, but he just does not win basketball games as of right now. Maybe it's the team, maybe it's the personnel, maybe it's just too many inconsistencies in the organization. It's hard for him to find stability. Maybe he's the type of player that needs consistent stability in order for him to be successful. I don't know, but he can't stay healthy. That's one thing, and he can't win. He hasn't proven he can win basketball games consistently yet. I do like him though. I think he is the third best center in the NBA.
Okay, I was just about to say, what would you rank him overall in the NBA? Like top 10, top 15?
I think he's the third best. I can name 2 other centers better than him, and that's it.
I'm talking about overall in the NBA. Top 10?
Oh, he's not top 10.
Top 15?
I'd say top 20. I'm pretty confident I can name 15 players better. But that's a tough bargain, but definitely not top 10.
So I'm going to say this about Cat, man. Karl-Anthony Towns.
Oh, my.
Dates Jordan Woods. I wish the young couple blessings and good luck. Hopefully it works out for you two. Beautiful young lady, Cat. Beautiful. I don't know about the inside, but outside she's a very nice looking young lady. Hopefully she's nice on the inside too. That's all that matters. Please, I'm giving advice to the young people out there. Get you somebody that you date, regardless of who it is. Just get somebody that's good on the inside, as just as beautiful on the outside. You don't want to date nobody that's right on the inside but sweet on the outside.
Let them know.
I'm just trying to give advice to the young people out there, man. I'm Uncle Matt. So Uncle Showtime. So Cat, I feel like he's a tremendous talent. I feel like he's an amazing player, and I know he gets his hate from a lot of players in the league. And like you said about his media day, he was like, "I'm tired of the disrespect, yada yada yada," and it's because you got players like Joel Embiid that take shots at him. You got players like Jimmy Butler that took shots at him on the way out. You got players in the league that are like players that hold weight in the league that just say he just not built like that. And it's like it sucks because he's so talented. So I'm wondering like what is he doing wrong or not doing right that caused people to feel this way about him. You know,
Right.
I'm not on the beat there. I'm not there every day covering the team. So I'm asking the people that are what's going on in Minnesota? Like is it what is he not doing right that doesn't results in winning? Is it the organization? I know KG, he said he was too loyal to them for too long, and he hated to get out of there sooner. Out of that organization. That's one of his regrets that he didn't leave sooner. So
Think about it. Their best players leave and they win championships.
yeah,
Garnett, Love.
yeah, that's how I say it. So it may not just be all on the players. It may just be the organization as a whole, the ownership group as a whole. KG don't like the ownership group at all. So
They have new owners now. A-Rod is an owner.
I was just about to say,
Yep.
I was literally just about to say, now they have a new ownership group. Hopefully, we see brighter days for them in the future. So,
Or
it's
move
just,
the team. Go to Las Vegas. Las Vegas needs a basketball team.
hey, that would be interesting.
That
That would be highly interesting.
They're still in the West, or go to Seattle.
So I'm gonna say this about Cat, and I'm gonna leave it alone so we can move on to the next team. If Karl-Anthony Towns played with the Lakers instead of AD, we would look at Karl-Anthony Towns as a better player than Anthony Davis. When I ask you, when I ask you, is Karl-Anthony Towns a top 10 player? If he played with LeBron James with the Lakers, that would be a no-brainer. You would say off dump, yes. The fact that he can't win and he has his bad aura around his name with certain NBA players in the league hurts his status in the NBA. But if he was to get with LeBron and LeBron sprinkle that secret stuff on him, he would be looked. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say I kind of went overboard by saying he'd be better than Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis.
All right, thank you. We're good now. All right,
okay,
thank you.
Anthony Davis, even when he was in New Orleans, people looked at Anthony Davis as a top 5, top 10 player. I say that. So Anthony Davis was always looked at as a baller. But Karl-Anthony Towns would be looked at as a top 10 player if he played with the Lakers because he'd be winning. He'd be with a superstar like LeBron. LeBron give him his mojo, his magic. But one thing that you have to ask, and we can go ahead and close to this, would LeBron want to play with Karl-Anthony Towns? Because I seen the interview once before that LeBron talked about certain players that even though they talented, he wouldn't want to play with them. Like he just know outside looking in that we wouldn't fit. I wouldn't want to go that route. So would LeBron even want to play with a player like Karl-Anthony Towns? That's a question to ask. I think LeBron James can turn him into a top 10 player, but that's neither here nor there. But we wish them the best. We don't think they're making the playoffs. Very talented team. Hopefully they put that talent together with a first year head coach and they can make some moves going forward and maybe prove us wrong because they super talented. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. Anything else, Face, before we close out?
Those teams in the West that are ahead of them are just super talented, and I don't think Minnesota has enough talent. They'll be a good team, but not to make the playoffs.
Think about it though. Minnesota and New Orleans, they talent not that big of a difference.
Yeah,
Minnesota,
but they're both not playoff teams.
No, New Orleans is a play-in team.
Yeah, we have a play-in, but if this was a normal seeding, we wouldn't have them as.
Okay. I got one even better for you. Minnesota and Memphis. I think Memphis got more talent than Minnesota. I think Minnesota got more talent than Memphis.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom, I think Minnesota has more talent.
I'm about to look into that for our team preview. I'll peep that one out. That's a question we'll have coming up soon.
That's what I'm saying. So what's going? They got the talent. So it's not a talent issue. What else could it be?
Too many factors. They don't have a leader.
Factors. Too many
leader.
So yeah, we'll close out, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in for this episode, man.
He gave you a hint of one of the upcoming teams as well too. He said play-in team.
Dang. I'm gonna tell y'all this is where you can get some good some good beignets from, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So stay tuned for that next episode, man. Thank y'all for listening. Peace.